I bought a completely bone stock E36 and made a perfect low budget drift car in under 30 days. So I bought the car, brought it home on a trailer, put it straight on the lift, installed some coilovers with new rims and tires, welded the diff, changed the steering wheel, installed the fly-off and took it right to the drift track. Send it!
Oh yeah!
It was a lot of fun, but the lack of power was frustrating me, so I sold this car to move on to my next drift car. So, lean back and enjoy watching my journey as I made this happen. For the 8-inch wide wheels going on the front, we are fitting 205/40/17. What the hell? Oopsie. Okay, this shit isn't working anyway. Screw it, it's just a drift car after all. screw it. So this was all that I've done regarding the suspension on this car. Everything else stayed stock. So let's move on to the next step, installing the fly-off. In the beginning I was like, I'm a master technician, so this is gonna be easy. In the interior everything was running smoothly. As I was opening up this bolt, the first signs occurred. But I'm the master here, so I'm telling where to go. Actually here through this hole. Then I masterfully laid the brake lines. This is what the final result looked like. The one I want to use to enter a beauty contest. Because I'm a master. Just a little leak test before bleeding the brakes. Yeah, let's bleed the brakes and we're ready to go. At least that's what I thought. Of course, the bleeding nipple didn't break off. And of course, after I was done being annoyed, I did discover that the wheel brake cylinder was also leaking, because I'm a master. Luckily, there was a template included to make the cutting easier. And of course, I got the tools to make this hole. And of course, I didn't spend over an hour cutting this beauty contest worthy hole. Of course, I ordered the whole brake set for the next day, since I'm not stupid, but a master, and I had already anticipated what was coming. And I didn't cut out the part where I first turned the release lever in the wrong direction.
Oh mein Gott. Fuck. Ich kann kein Belag mehr da.
Yes, these brakes have seen better days. And of course the lines weren't rusted solid to the cylinders and caused me physical and mental pain. Since my spare parts dealer isn't the brightest, he only gave me half of the spring set. That's why I had to use the old ones again. On the opposite side was the same shit. And of course I didn't realize on this side that I just complained about my spare parts dealer for nothing because I'm a master. So finally I refitted the side, including the brake lines. After 3 hours of unexpected character development, we can go back to where we left off. I am bleeding the brakes. I quickly assembled the interior, and so I'm ready to test this thing.
Okay, ist sehr gewöhnungsbedürftig. Aber da muss man schon gescheit anreißen. Ich glaube, die Bremse gehört noch ein bisschen eingefahren. Geht nicht gut.
Yo, unfortunately this didn't go quite to plan. You can see at the e-brake that it has a relatively long travel. I guess the brakes need to be broken in and adjusted later on. Another disadvantage is that the shift lever is now very close to the fly-off switch. I still need to make improvements here. And there ain't much space here between the steering wheel and lever either. My new Sparco gear knob improved the clearance here. To get a better clearance to the steering wheel, I decided to put a completely different one in. Then I double checked if the tires were standing straight. The clearance improved way better than I expected, so I was happy with the result. Then I made adjustments on the sprocket I was talking about last time. And I bleeded the brakes a second time. I think the ending result looks pretty nice, so let's go check out if it works.
Yep. ist so. Ja, Mann.
Yeah, now we're talking. Okay, let's see how the tire's gonna work out in the snow. Yeah, that did not work very well, but at least I made it.
Yeah, man. Ja, riecht nach verbranntem Gummi.
Yeah, then I'll remove the differential. An important step here is to always first check whether the filler screw opens up before draining the oil, especially if you want to drive home with this car. Yeah, this rule doesn't count for me because... yeah. Okay, the oil is in pretty good condition. Cool. This means the diff waited for me so I can destroy it.
Backroom activities.
The inside of the diff is in very good condition. The diff oil looks like it has been changed not a long time ago. Then I finally welded the diff. Here I'm adjusting my torque wrench. Alright, I would say the car is drift ready, so let's go and test it out.
Oh, yeah!
Hello from Wahauring. Today I wanna find out if this pretty face empty case E36 can make some proper drifts. My goal with this 316 is to complete one round where I fully link all corners together. I upgraded a lot of things, but not the engine. As you can see, the engine is completely bone stock. Okay, so let's go find out. In the first round I had to realize that I made one huge mistake. Okay, I got a lot of grip. Tons of grip, but barely any power. The car was going sideways, but I was far away from calling this drifting. And my goal from leaking the whole track. Oh man, better don't talk about that. It was so frustrating to watch everybody else sliding around so easily. There were a lot of other 316s on the track which were sliding so easily. So the problem must be somewhere else than having too little power. Okay, I gotta get out to the pit. It's so hot in here. At least we survived the first round. Luckily everything was fine with my E36, but the white one from my mate had some troubles.
Aber wie?
We made a quick fix by drilling some drainage holes and let's go back to the track. I have to try burning up some fuel. I can really feel the weight of the fuel pushing down on the rear tires. And these fucking Nankangs, they used to be some cheap Linglongs, but they feel like good expensive ones now. And that's even though the track is wet. Maybe it's because of the temperature. If I'm lucky later on when the track gets hotter, it's possible that the tire's gonna be slipping a bit more. But a fully linked drift, I don't think that's gonna be happening soon. Okay, next try. That's so much grip, even the fly-off doesn't work properly.
Oh oh, oh mein Gott.
What happened here? Look, his left rear tire.
Okay, okay.
Slowly but surely. Okay, I'll better get out and wait for this car to be towed. Okay, let's check out how the white E36 is doing. From the window or what? From the skirts? You mean from the door? I would say the water is draining into from here. While this E39 was getting towed, we used the time to fix his water leakage problem properly. Okay, then let's get rid of this silly problem. Like a proper master technician, I'm going to fix this with duct tape. You know, like a relationship that's made to fail. Let's make a child. That does the job. Alright, send it. In the next round, I tried compensating the missing power by more momentum. And almost crashed the car.
Oh, oh mein Gott.
How did I save that?
Ah, doch viel zu viel Grip.
The grip and power matched up perfectly on this particular section. So my new goal was drifting this section perfectly.
Jawohl! Das erste Mal gelingt! Oh oh, da raucht's bei ihm. Also wahrscheinlich der Auspuff, ha?
So here I went back to the pit because I thought my mate had another problem with his car. But it seemed like everything was fine. And as I probably expected, suddenly his car shut off in the middle of the track. So that you can understand the feelings in this situation, we gotta go a few days back. 2 weeks ago, my mate had to find out his cylinder head was completely cracked. Oil and water were completely mixed up together. He just finished the repair in his M50 yesterday and had no time to test the system properly before going to the track. And suddenly, his engine shut off while being on the track. The fear was big. The first diagnosis showed that the fan wheel collided with the radiator and all of the coolant has leaking out. But the real question was why the engine isn't running anymore. If the problem was really caused by the cooling system, there are only two things that could have stolen the engine. Either the engine got so hot that the pistons got stuck in the cylinders, or the coolant splashed right into the air filter and got stuck in the engine. Both scenarios were not good at all. That's why I wanted to check the oil filter for shavings first, before even trying to fix the radiator.
Okay. Hey, schaut gut aus! Ja, das war gut.
Maybe it sucked just enough amount of water, so the spark plugs only got wet.
Der kleine Kompakt hat.
So for his luck, the engine was rescued, but we still couldn't find the radiator. So we let the car rest for now and went on drifting with mine. One more round or should we get out?
Da mal eine schöne. War das knapp, Alter.
Then it was lunchtime. After that we will be driving the road in the opposite direction.
Gehen wir oder was? Ah ja, sie haben die geilsten. Sie haben so geil. Ja, ist sein Arm. Hupe am. Wow. Ich hab Hupe. Fuck, Alter. Den hat's gleich ran, aber. Boah! Oh. Fuck, mein Handy. Wo ist mein Handy? Dein Rad!
You're losing a tire!
Dein Reifen! Oh, Alter, ganz knapp. Wow. Wie viel sind da drin? 4. Da kann man noch fragen, woran er das hier liegt. Oh mein Gott, Alter! What the fuck? Ja.
So then I lent them my tools so they can fix it while we get back on the track. You know, missing power is replaced with madness. They're all slipping good. I'm the only one who's not slipping so good.
So, da geht's alles so schön.
Now, slowly but surely, I started to gain some confidence and started pushing the car more to its limit. After we went back to the pit again, it was time to find out what's going on with the compact. The threads on the bolts and on the wheel hub was completely destroyed. So the compact driver was so kind, he gave us his radiator to put it into the white M50.
Hinten am Ding, ich hab die 2 Akkublöcke davon.
And on we go. Then I made myself a new goal. The goal was to get in with a backwards entry here. And all of a sudden this happened.
Minimal. Das Gas da, Glory.
My trim is still lying there.
Die liegt nur da, sind wir die Gas.
Should we get it?
Ja. Geil. Sporen, Junge, Sporen.
I think the clips were already broken before.
Fast, wie when he was war.
I hope you enjoyed it at least as much as I did. It was a very successful project car. From bone stock to drift ready in under 30 days. I can only recommend you this car if you also want to get into drifting like I did. So after I licked some blood, I started to get into some crazy ideas. If you want to know how I continued the journey, go and watch my E30 versus E36 video. I hope you enjoyed this short film. It was a pleasure for me that you've watched my video until the end. Thank you and see you again. Your Fuki.